What's up, YouTube? And today it is RSS, Random Stuff Saturday. That means we're going to be talking about some stuff that's happening in the sports community, like maybe what team Deshaun Watson's going to go to, what team JJ Watt's going to go to, and how the MVP ranking list is kind of messed up. But we're going to start off with a quick little note here. We got a question of the week. This is what I was thinking about during school, because, I do be using my brain. Real talk. Put it down in the comments below. Whatever doesn't kill you, does it make you stronger? Because if someone snaps my neck, I ain't getting stronger. I'm going to be dead. Okay? So just think about it. I know what you're thinking. I know. Look at me. Look at me in the eye. Look at me. See this? See this? I'm talking to my phone right now. I don't even know what you all saying, but I'm looking at that camera, and I know y'all be typing in the comments. You best be. Alright, also, without further ado, like and comment, like and subscribe. Subscribe to the like button, like the subscribe button, like the comment section, all that good stuff. Let's get out of the way. Alright. First thing we're going to talk about. Who should Dame Dalla be an all-star starter? I think absolutely for sure, yes. I don't think there's any way Luka Doncic gets it over him based off of the way Dame's playing. Arguably one of the best guards in the league, if not best point guard. I think it's hard. I think it's because of the international player Luka is. He brings more of a fan base with him when it comes to voting, and it is mainly fan voting. So I think that's partially why Dame Dalla's kind of stopped to the USA as mainly in his area of Portland. So that makes it hard for him to get in, and I think that's the reason why. But I think it shouldn't necessarily be based off all fan voting. You want to see the players you want to see, but it also leaves out players like Devin Booker, who should have gotten over Chris Paul because, to be honest, Devin Booker's been popping off as of late. And it's tough to watch when a player who really deserves it doesn't get it. Same thing with LBJ and getting the MVP. The MVP should be your most valuable player. That should be the guy you take him off the team, and the team is much less successful. Now, granted, the Lakers, with LeBron right now, struggling a bit. AD's out. LeBron, can he carry the weight? If he can carry the weight, I'll legitimately say he deserves the MVP. But right now, I think there's other guys that deserve it much more. For instance, let's take Giannis. My guy is the center of attention on his team. Constantly leads them to the playoffs. Also, sometimes number one seed. I know they're fluctuating at this time of year. I don't follow the NBA all that much. I do know most of the rankings when it comes to things like the MVP, as well as like how each team's doing. I know the Charlotte Hornets are on their way to possibly being in a playoff berth situation, which is very impressive considering they haven't really changed much about their team other than getting LaMelo. But all I'm going to say is that guys like Curry deserve to be above Durant, and I think that the NBA should change it sideways. It's not based off of team success, but rather real statistics and who is more valuable in the situation. That is just where I'm at. Tell me in the comments below what you feel, but it's tough to see a player who's been putting up consistent 40-point, even 60-point performances and is below guys who are playing subpar to how they usually play. All right, and I did promise to talk about J.J. Watt. I think J.J. Watt will not be going to the Steelers, mainly because they have no use for him, because they already have guys like Hayward and Tuitt. Hayward's getting up there in age, but Tuitt's pretty young, and they have T.J. Watt already coming off the edge. And yes, J.J. Watt does play in a 3-4, mainly for the Texans, but that man's mainly coming off the edge more than he is coming on the inside because he's not a big bull rush guy. He's more a finesse move. I do think there's a legitimate possibility of him going to the Browns. I think that would make the most sense, and that would be the scariest for any other team in the AFC because the Browns, you already saw this year, very successful team, almost beat the Chiefs, lost by only a few yards. They really got beat on a 4th down conversion. And yeah, I think they'll definitely be making it back. But if they get JJ, I think they're the most likely to get JJ Watt out of any team. Now, Deshaun Watson is a tricky situation. I really don't think the Texans are going to trade him unless they can really get a good deal out of it. Like, if they can really get a lot of things that they need. Because I think Bill O'Brien majorly did the team wrong in the sense of he just did not do a good job with that team. They should have really went back to the playoffs this year if they played their cards right, but somehow they regressed so badly that they just went nowhere. That's terrible to see because J.J. Watt's the type of player that he deserves a title, pretty much. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, maybe even more. And dude just kind of almost looking like inexistent this year, but not really. He was still there. He's still putting up the stats, but his team around him was just not there. Not there at all. And it's unfortunate, but I don't see them trading Deshaun for just whatever they can get. They're going to hold out, wait for something, then trade him away. And if he sits out this season, I don't think they're going to trade him away, even if he does that. To be honest, that's just the cold truth, is that the Texans aren't willing to give up a franchise quarterback like that for nothing. Even if he doesn't play, they're going to still keep him there because they got him signed to a major contract, which sucks for Deshaun Watson because he deserves to be on same with J.J. Watt. He's the type of guy to be out there on the field and make every second count. And that's just where I'm at with that situation. All right, now to move on. This is going to be the last thing because, I don't know. I'm trying to leave some stuff for Will to talk about tomorrow, hopefully. But, we got to talk about this all-time situation. And I'm not going to talk about who's the best because I think that's a straw man argument. I don't think there's any way both sides you could argue LeBron's better, Michael Jordan's better. There's even points where you could argue Kareem is better in the sense of just overall being the best at his position. I think it's tough to say one player is better than the other because you can't take into account 1v1s because most players play in a different position. If you put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar against LeBron James or Michael Jordan, he's most likely going to score his points and stop him on defense because he's just so big and he's really good at guarding the post and even on the perimeter. But we're going to go through the starting 5 that I would choose, as well as we'll do up to 3 bench slots of guys I would pick. I know I should really pick 5 bench slots because there's 5 positions mainly, and then I should pick 5 guys to be reserves, but I don't really care to do that. I want to pick the guys that I think would be right behind the starting 5. So for point guard, this might be an interesting pick. I know a lot of people would say Curry, Magic, or even maybe John Stockton if you're about that life. And I know there's some people out there who are really about John Stockton. You know who you are. But I would go with the Big O, Oscar Robertson. I think it's tough to. I know I'm fidgeting my hands a lot, but it's tough to deny his skill on defense and offense. It's him and Russ, I think both are the only two to average a triple-double, which is really impressive when it comes to point guard. And he did an even tougher time frame. I know I don't usually like to argue time frame over actual skill, but then again, the dude just was a scorer and was a menace. I think it's tough to find someone with the same capabilities. And that's why he's going to be my number 1 point guard. At shooting guard, he got to go MJ. You got to go MJ because he just brings the whole package. He's, again, same guy. So even a little bit better, though. He's got that 3-point shot. He's got the defense. He's got the mid-range. He even can play in the post. He can post up and stuff like that. And most of all, he can rebound. He can play make. He can make the game happen. He just the type of guy to make insane shots fall. And on defense, he's multiple defensive player of the year. It's hard to disregard that and just say oh, there's someone better out there. Nah, you can't say that. Small forward. I can't not go with LeBron. I want to go with Larry Bird because I'm a Celtics fan. Larry Bird, I grew up watching, enjoying his highlights, and my dad would tell me stories about him. Most interesting player to watch because he would hit some crazy difficult shots, and especially the NBA at this time just seems like a joke when it comes to defense. Nobody plays it anymore. When you watch Larry Bird go against teams like the Pistons, it's hard not to say, oh, this guy's the best of all time because he's going against a team that's literally shoving people to the floor and clotheslining them. But I do have to go with LeBron just in the sense of he's just a monster. He's a monster on the paint, and it's everywhere. There's not one time where LeBron's not clutch. And you can say whatever you want. You can say LeBron faced easy opponents in the playoffs, but when it comes down to it, he's got the stats to pay for it. He's literally one of the best players of all time, if not the best. Power forward, I do have to go Tim Duncan. I know AD's catching up with him, and I know who's the other guy that I was going to talk about. Karl Malone, that's my boy. Favorite player of all time, Karl Malone. Karl Malone's a nasty power forward. There's a bunch of Dirk Nowitzki, good power forward, but Tim Duncan, just mechanical player. You cannot deny the fact that he's just one of those guys who will grit and grind the whole game. Every second he's on the court, just like Michael Jordan, just like Oscar Robertson, just like even LeBron plays most with the game with heart. And Tim Duncan's the type of guy to really get down there and play grit and grind. And he's not your type of power forward nowadays where he's going to go up and pull up at the 3-point line or do anything crazy like that, but he will score his points, and he as well will add padded defense. Center, I got to go with Kareem. I just hyped him up for being one of the best of all time, and I think with just the way he played, amount of championships he's been to with different teams too, and that skyhook is unguardable. There's no way anyone that tall who can get up that high and shoot the ball that accurate. He shoot it from the 3-point line. How are you going to stop that? You're not. And then obviously that added height on defense, no one's going to get it to the rim and dunk on him, so he'll just be able to stop it that way. We'll get into the reserves now. So I'm picking 3 reserves. I have to go with Magic Johnson. And I know that's going to be a controversial pick because he's not the most insane shooter or scorer, but he brings the defense. There's not one guy I would say that would be able to absolutely outsauce Magic Johnson on a scale. And obviously this is my opinion because there's going to be people out here who are going to be like Curry or even like I said before, John Stockton or even other guys that can put up insane points like Allen Iverson who has crazy handles. But I would much rather have a guy coming off the bench who I know is going to lock up whatever player I need him to lock up. With that being said, reserve number 2, I want a guy who can score, and I talked about Larry Bird before. Only reason why I didn't make it on the all-time starting list, Larry Bird brings the whole package on offense. There's not one spot, and even on defense, he brings the hustle. I've watched a play where he got blocked or he missed a shot, came back, got a steal, and won the game. You can't ask for much more out of a player. And the type of guy who has that competitive attitude, big crap talker. I cannot deny that. That would be something that would be hard to see on the court, but I think it's important to try to get into your opponent's head, and he's the type of guy where he can back it up too. So it's definitely hard not to. You can't pass up on Larry Bird. And then the last guy, there's a lot of other guys I would want to go with, but I have to go with a big man because I went with a forward and a guard. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more guys that I could consider in this category. But for a big man, I feel like I have to go with the Diesel. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq, whatever you want to call him. He's always going to be the Diesel because he's just a freight train. Just don't stop that guy. There's really not. The only person to ever consistently stop him on offense was Yao Ming, and that's because Yao Ming is gigantic, 7'6". And no one else can really counteract that kind of capability. And that's my all-time team for guys that I would pick. And also, I stand by this. Bill Laimbeer is better than Michael Jordan. Just never forget that. You know why. You know who this is targeted at, but you already know. Bill Laimbeer beat him twice, and he's got the whole package. They call him Big, Bill. Okay? And the man is a monster. So don't sleep on my boy Bill. You know what I'm saying? And don't sleep on him. I know what you're thinking. Bill Laimbeer, what is he? Nah, don't sleep on that man, okay? And also, last thing. If you all have a good day, watch this video. It's going to be pretty long because it's going to be uncut. And also, if you can't do this, you're a scrub. That's right. Alright, and that's going to end the video.